An activist agenda, what are people fighting for? Chapter 1. An activist agenda and purpose. An activist agenda. Here are some things that seem screwed up. 1. We like to say we live in democracies when the truth is that representative democracies are rife with corruption and fraud simply because we isolate a group of representatives who immediately enter the bubble of their parliament where they are seduced by the many lobbyists and special interest groups, all of whom want favors in exchange for scratching the politicians' backs. The truth is that in a majority government, one man is the temporary dictator of the country. He can do anything he wants. Nobody can stop him. In a minority government, it becomes an oligarchy. The 3 or 4 party leaders get together and wheel and deal about what to do, not necessarily to help the people but to maximize the probability that each will gain votes from it. Politicians set their own salaries and pensions. That's elitism, not democracy. What do the people think is a fair wage compared to what it is now? Politics for the most part is show business. They fight and bicker in front of the camera, but behind the scenes, they're all sitting pretty with their big salaries, the special treatment and minor celebrity status. It's pretty hard to claim to be helping people when you're taking a salary that is much higher than what you're really worth. I have never heard a politician say that his salary is too high, they should lower it. 2. The money motive of the medical industry. The conventional medical industry opposes the holistic business head-on without even listening to them. They also create many fake diseases and disorders caused by the normal degenerative processes of aging. This is called iatrogenesis. It includes disorders like multiple chemical sensitivity syndrome, osteoarthritis, chronic fatigue syndrome, restless leg syndrome, most mental health disorders, the hormonal imbalances of menopause, etc. These medical conditions are overrated, legitimized scams. 3. The big lie that we have official system-sanctioned experts in topics dealing with life, how to live, how to love, how to have mind-blowing sex, that somehow know more than people who examine their lives as they feel them without learning anything about life management in school. 4. The definitions of happiness and success put forth by the capitalist system, which make a lot of us feel inadequate, working long hours doing jobs we don't like, pursuing illusions we allowed ourselves to get sucked into, like our desires to move up the socio-economic status ladder, acquiring lots of useless material things we don't need, and doing things to try to look cool, popular, fashionable and trendy to others. 5. The lies of the stock market. They're always telling you it's a great time to invest right now, regardless of the truth, which is that you could lose your shirt. It's a great sucker business when your broker/financial planner stands to make great profits with your money but risks nothing if he loses it. Why are the folks on the money networks always so bullish on stocks even when people are losing their life savings, or right after they lose 50% of the value of their stock portfolio? I watched them say that it was a great time to buy stocks right after the Dow Jones Industrials Index lost about 40% of its value. It's like pulling a scam on someone, then going back right up to their face and saying, "I got another great deal for you, sucker." 6. The lie that there is such a thing as glamour, that if you buy a bunch of hair color, jewelry, cosmetics, clothing, etc., and get all dressed up, then walk down some red carpet, you'll feel special. Your state of mind, therefore your spirit, has nothing to do with the clothes you wear or the gunk you put in your hair. If it does, you're a lost soul. Enlightened people live by spirit. Nothing can make them feel special except for the freeing effect they get from releasing the natural energy in their souls. If I get all dressed up and go to the biggest, most fabulous social event of all time, it's still a passive event made up of other people's pretenses. It can't touch what I do to intensely release the inspired sensual loving energy in my soul. 7. The culture of the mass media presents a one-dimensional, mainstream view of life which they, the media companies and their corporate advertisers, want people to buy into so they can get hooked on all that stuff about being happy, cool, and successful, defined by the marketers who pay for airtime, therefore control it. We're supposed to be the sucker plebeies watching it, believing in it, trying to be successful and happy by the standards manufactured for us in the TV shows and the commercials. 8. the cult of celebrity is basically high school, or at least the myth of high school from corny movies and TV shows taken to the real world in adulthood. There's supposedly an in crowd somewhere over the rainbow of cool, advanced people having a great old time, all united as friends in this never land that exists on the screen and in tabloid magazines, but it's all an elaborate marketing lie by the entertainment industry to sell their TV shows, movies, CDs, pop stars, the cult of celebrity, frivolous gossip magazines, books, clothes, etc. There are many forces out there trying to get a piece of our minds in order to sell us something and otherwise control our lives. They take a lot of us away from pursuing what we feel as pure individuals trying to live great lives for ourselves to become pacified, brainwashed spectator consumer clones such that when injustices occur against the people by the government, most sit back and take it without standing up for their rights, the end result being an erosion of freedom in favor of more government power. Activist purpose in life. When about 20% of the people in any society unite to fight injustice, they win in the end because nobody can stamp out truth and goodness. When the silent majority sees momentum to a just cause, they eventually support it. We live in fake democracies controlled by business big hots, high-level government bureaucrats and politicians all united in a loose alliance to keep the money and power for themselves. If you want proof, it's in poverty and homelessness. It's not hard to solve these problems. Stop spending money on useless things like military, national security, pomp, ceremony, tradition, foreign affairs, statistics, bureaucracy, politicians, political chambers, and use it to help people in their daily lives where we live right here, right now. Tend to our own affairs. Focus on them. Whatever happens outside of our borders is all fine and good as part of the life of the human race, but we got the United Nations for that. Any nation is responsible for life within its own borders. The righteous code is to focus on being the best that you can be where you live and keep your nose out of other people's business unless they ask for help. Elections are a show. It doesn't matter who gets in. They're all part of the same club out for themselves. The political party owners, funded by big business interests, nominate the politicians who run in the elections, then become their puppets in exchange for the nomination and the financial logistical support to win the election. Show me one politician urgently, desperately, passionately trying to end poverty, provide free college tuition, medical care, dental and eye care to everybody, and bring industry back to the homeland. You can't do it because that person doesn't exist in the modern Western nations. We don't need hundreds of politicians. We need one philosopher king on a short leash that we control. We, the people, can easily rule ourselves issue by issue on the internet. There is only one elected leader and his or her hand-picked cohorts. All other federal politicians are eliminated. People get local representation through a system of civil servant ombudsmen. This eliminates all the drama, fighting among political parties, nepotism, lobbying, patronage and backroom deals. The people create ideas online and vote on them to pick about 20 every year to become the new vision for the nation. Demand an online referendum for the people to start creating ideas. Bills and voting on them on the internet as true democracy, the people creating the new ideas and voting on them rather than bills created by big business and politicians who are beholden to their campaign funders. Put it up on Twitter, YouTube and Facebook. Say everybody who wants true democracy, show up at the National Square at a certain time. When 1 million people show up in any country, they are the power. The government can't stop the will of 1 million people anywhere. Their army can shoot at them, but they will be quickly mobbed and overrun. If 1 million people show up at the National Palace or National House, there might be 1,000 guards there at the most. They can't stop a mob of people. The people demand the referendum. It's set up on the internet. They vote it in. It's the beginning of a new way the human race lives. For the first time we truly rule ourselves. It's up to you, the people, to stand up and fight to get rid of these fake systems we have now pretending to be democracies out to help the people. Almost 200 years after Charles Dickens wrote great stories about poverty and worker exploitation in London, nothing has changed. As a young man, I learned about great people striving to help their fellow man like Dickens, Steinbeck, Tolstoy, Gandhi, King, and Guthrie. I see desperate people standing outside the homeless shelter on Gottingen Street in Halifax, NS, Canada. Then about a mile away, I see a dozen or so military ships that we don't need considering our country has never been attacked. I was brought up right between these two places on Fuller Terrace. It's 50 years later. Nothing has changed. The only thing that really matters in the human race is that we help each other so that nobody has to sink so low as to feel totally desperate anymore. Some people get so desperate for whatever reason that they kill themselves or simply live homeless until they die of malnutrition, ill health, and stress. We can provide a modest room for everybody if we rise up, demand a referendum for true democracy, vote it and then rule ourselves over the internet. We can stop wars. Stop spending money on the military like Costa Rica did. Everybody leaves them alone because they're a peaceful nation. A shadow government runs the world. The fight is for the people to unite and take true democratic power. Just post something up on the internet saying you want a true democracy or people power referendum now. Chapter 2. Activist one-liners and quotes. Activist one-liners 1. When you write to journalists, be factual, not emotional or vague. Help Americans fix the United States government by not pursuing old American expansionist imperialistic goals. Reason is the greatest enemy that faith has. Help democracies flourish. Use peaceful instigation to get average individuals to think and learn how to liberate themselves. Who in their right mind thinks that the government is here to protect us? The government is a tool of fat cats to protect their interests. We must unite and form a worldwide coalition for peace, fairness, and justice. Activists should join forces and generate massive power. Always look for ulterior motives like money and power. Power tends to corrupt. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. The United States has 800 military bases around the world to protect American businesses located in the region. The United States Armed Forces are there to protect big businesses and help them impose corporate democracy to the people of the world. A large majority of people avoid dealing with reality by accepting what they're told by the mainstream media without questioning it. Large corporations are generally bad because they're greedy, concerned with profit over being good citizens. We should live as kind, just, ethical and moral people unlike our warmongering relatives. Human rights, gender equality, and equal rights are all inalienable rights given to every woman and man by nature. This is the only way to prosper, to use all of our power. We have to fight. When we see injustice, we must fight against it. All war comes down to someone making a lot of money in the name of some trumped-up cause. Many innocent people die because of someone's greed for money and power. Wars should be decided through a public referendum, not by politicians. Seek justice, not revenge, because revenge means the hate never ends. Every religion is equally corrupt and destructive. All the nations of the world have blood on their hands. We are a brutal species. We use ideologies and beliefs to create imaginary barriers between ourselves, then we kill each other over it. We must learn our lessons from history, rise above it all. We may also never agree with each other on everything, but we must live and let live. It would be foolish if we continued fighting among each other over our petty differences. Fight for freedom of the press. We are one people and all of us are members of one family of humanity. Know your enemy and you won't be defeated. No matter how painful the truth may be, only truth can set us free. United we stand, divided we fall. We are one people, one mankind. All it takes for evil to triumph is for good people to do nothing. This is your world, save it. Support freedom of expression for all. Condemn suppression of the people's rights. Follow what's good in your soul. The more people socialize, the less oppression there is. Religious people in general are not loving. They try to use religion to belong somewhere and in the process brand all outsiders as heathens. Embrace the wise, the kind and the truthful. All people should strive to be noble, including politicians. Nobility is your desire to do what you feel is right in your intuition. Evil politics is where a handful of people are out to get what they can for themselves, callous to the plight of the people. This may not seem clear-cut because many politicians lie like crazy. The truth is that many of our politicians take all the perks and only pretend to care. At the very least, make all expense account spending public record. Lower politician pay to that of a teacher. Don't give them outrageous pensions for only a few years on the job. The best politics is when people vote on the specific issues. This is why I believe we should set up a computerized system where people type in their social insurance numbers and vote on the important bills. Personally, I think we need politicians not in it for the money. I think there should be rules put in to keep the pay no higher than what a teacher gets. This way you attract people for reasons other than money. The other big thing about politicians is system clones versus ideas people. There are too many people worried about playing the game, covering their ass and not passionately trying to help people. Almost every national leader is a system clone. If they had any balls, they would take all that money they spend on the military and use it to build hospitals and schools. Most are clones doing what they're told by either their campaign donors or very rich people who control the banks, money, business, and industry. Activist one-liners 2. Send a letter to the editor. Publish an op-ed piece in your local newspaper. Write guest columns or newsletter articles. Write a blog. Comment on blogs. Make a video and post it on YouTube. Sticker your message around town on bulletin boards. Host an activist event. Give a presentation. Advocate for policy change in the government. Convince the media to run your story. Contact your politicians. Start petitions. Tell media when you don't like the stories they broadcast. Activist quotes. Politicalquotes.blogspot.com. The public have an insatiable curiosity to know everything, except what is worth knowing. Oscar Wilde. Those who are willing to give up their liberty for a little security deserve neither and get tyranny instead. Ben Franklin. Necessity is the plea for every infringement of human freedom. It is the argument of tyrants and the creed of slaves. William Pitt. If you want a picture of the future, imagine a boot stomping on a human face, forever. George Orwell. Nothing in politics ever happens by accident. If it happens, you can bet it was planned that way. Franklin D. Roosevelt. The world is governed by people far different from those imagined by the public. Benjamin Disraeli. Power is always most secure when it is not recognized, so every effort is made by the powerful to keep information about themselves from becoming public. No man is more hopelessly enslaved than he who falsely believes that he is free. Goethe. Truth will ultimately prevail where there is pain to bring it to light. George Washington. For my part, whatever anguish of spirit it may cost, I am willing to know the whole truth, to know the worst and provide for it. Patrick Henry. As our ship flounders in violent seas driven by gale force winds, the weak pathetic excuses for leaders in our country, rather than lighten the load and reversing course, have chosen to increase our speed straight into the teeth of the cyclone. James Quinn. As long as you do not mess with anyone else's right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, enjoy your freedom to the right of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Quote on the Internet.